Hey everybody, Dr. Ben Atkins here, and welcome to week 2 of $1,000 Days. This has been a fun, fun course so far. I hope that you've been digging what we did in week 1. How many of you here with us right now that are live? And if you happen to be with us later on, that's cool too. But how many of you here enjoyed week 1 and you feel like you've got a real sense of how to deliver value? Like you got a real sense of how to bring the heat for your crew, for your clients. Like give me a yes in the box right now if you're really starting to figure this out and you're seeing, yeah, okay, this is how all this comes together. This is how all these pieces that I've been learning are starting to make a lot more sense, and it's really starting to come together in a way that I get what I'm supposed to be doing here. This is all like I understand how I'm going to actually bring these people new business, right? Like it's not just about, oh, well, here's a website, here's social, and here's all the. It's starting to come together in a way where it makes sense how you're going to actually bring the heat for these people. So that's what week 1 was about. Week 1 was about establishing what we're going to do, but more importantly, making you confident that you can actually bring value. Because I'm a firm believer that a lot of people, when they're starting out in sales, and especially in digital marketing, that the reason that they flounder, the reason that they don't get themselves out there, it's not just that they're shy. I don't believe that. I don't believe that they're shy. I don't believe that it's just a matter of, ooh, I don't want to talk to people. I don't think that at all. Even if you're a little bit introverted, I don't think that that's the full reason. I think the full reason has more to do with if you don't think that you can deliver value, if you really don't see, hey, I'm delivering so much value to these folks, if you don't see that in what you're offering, I believe it's incredibly difficult to go out there and sell. Selling is not hard when you believe in something. Do you guys agree with me? Selling is not so hard when you really believe in something. And I promise you this, every single day, you guys are selling something in your life. You're talking about something that you like, whether it be a Netflix show, whether it be the church down the street that you absolutely love because you've been attending for years, and or maybe you got a new pastor, like whether it be the cookies that the new bakery down the road makes. Like we all have no problem recommending things wholeheartedly with absolute conviction, as Scott says. We have no problem doing those things when we believe in the product, okay? The problem is when we don't. And that's what week 1 was all about. So if you happen to be here today and you've not consumed week 1 yet, make sure you go back and consume week 1 and really take it in. That's not what today is about, though. Today is about making sure that you have a machine built for yourself that can do exactly what you're doing for your customers. Listen, you were building a machine to collect leads and to follow up with leads in week 1 for your customer. Like, how do we do it for them? Now we've got to build it for us. And that's what today is all about, how we build this for us. I will say this. I will go ahead and say this. We're not going to be doing a lot of slide work today. And I think that's always a good thing when we're not doing a lot of slide work. When we're actually in showing things, that's where I have the most fun. So that's what today's going to be about. So do me a real quick favor. If you're excited, type the number 1 in the box right now. If you're excited, you're locked in, you're ready to go, get rid of distractions, and you're ready to get into this today. Give me a big number 1 in the box. Okay. Awesome. So it looks like we got a lot of people that are extremely pumped up for today. And that makes me super happy because I got a lot of good stuff to show you guys today. So we're going to get into it today. Today we're going to talk about how we build the 1K plus day sales machine for ourselves, how we put this system together and how it all comes together in a very interesting way. And listen, I don't like to overpromise. I like to underpromise and overdeliver. And I feel like that's what I'm doing right now, but it might sound like I'm overpromising. Here's what I'm going to tell you guys. When we're done with today, you're going to understand how to get customers, okay? You're going to understand how to get customers. And also, I want to make sure that you guys understand, on top of what we're doing today, I got a little bonus coming for you guys. Well, I'm going to bring in an ad expert that's going to show you guys how to, once you start to get the first few clients, how to take a little bit of ad money and really explode this thing even more. So, like I said, this is the foundation. I'm going to be stacking on some pieces to this over the next couple of weeks, just as a nice little bonus for everybody here. But when you get done today, you're going to get it. Just like you got how to help your clients last week, how to deliver value there. Today, this is going to bring a lot of things that you know how to do already, probably together. And for those of you that have no clue what you're doing in terms of getting customers and things like that, today we're going to really bring together some things that I think are going to blow you away. So, all that said, let's talk about what are we doing today. We're going to talk about a couple key things, and then a third that just sort of lands on top of both of those couple of key things. First is how we build our inbound funnel to attract leads, how we pre-qualify them. So how do we build a funnel that people are coming to us, right? Like, so how do we get where people are coming to us and basically raising their hand and saying, hey, I'd like some more information about this because I have this problem, right? So they're pre-qualifying themselves. From there, how we build an outbound funnel and how we maximize it to provide hot leads for our agency. So how we actually build an outbound and we start going after folks that have a high likelihood of being interested in what we have and what we did in week one, right? So that's the next thing. And finally, how do we follow up with these people? How do we do a follow up with these people to get them to agree to a 15-minute sales appointment with you? I will say this. The things you're learning today, I think it's going to be really easy to understand this, but I want you guys to also think about everything you learned today in terms of when I get going, when I get my first few clients, when I get a little money coming in every month, how do I hire it out? So give me number one if you're excited that this is a system that is supposed to be easy to hire help once you get going. Give me a big number one in the box if that's important to you. It's important to me, but I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. What you're going to learn today, it's extremely important that you realize that it's all about making sure that we can hire this stuff out. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's get into it. Let's start talking about this inbound funnel. So on your screen about right now should be a website. Can you guys see that website? Give me a yes. This is probably a familiar website to some of you, but maybe some of you it's not. This is an agency website. And this is my agency website. So one of the key things that I want you guys to understand is this site is very much, whether you catch it right away, but it's very much like the site that we're building for our customers. Does everybody pick up on that? Give me a yes if you picked up on that. It's very much the same kind of structure, but this is very much the kind of site that we build for our customers. There's not a lot of craziness going on. It's very much just supposed to be simple. It's supposed to get the main things out there. And at the end of the day, it's supposed to give us a look of professionalism when we're getting into this. So in terms of our inbound funnel, well, let me say this first. How we build this site. Can everybody see this back end for NetEngine? I talked about NetEngine last week, but how we build this site, if you're brand new, if you don't have an agency website, go click new website. And when you actually do that, you're going to see digital agency version 1, digital agency version 2. Both of those work, just fill in the blanks, but you're going to create your site using this. This is pretty much push a button, change a couple things about the site, and you've got what you need. Does everybody understand the template that I used to build this was digital agency version 2? That's what we got inside of NetEngine. That's what I'm using to build. Everybody got it? Give me number 2 in the box if that makes sense, so you know how to quickly build this. This is not a template that will take you an incredible amount of time if you don't have it done, but you can build something that looks like this, that functions the exact same way. I will even make sure that I get you guys, if you're not set up yet, I'll make sure we get you guys some blog posts too to fill out that section that I've written and you can use. So we got that. But when you go in and you set this up, like I said, new website, you select digital agency version 1 or version 2. If you want the one that looks like mine, that you can fill in the gaps, go to version 2. So that's where we start. Now, the idea here is the idea, by the way, if you need the blog post stuff, send me a support ticket at drbenhelp.com, drbenhelp.com, and my team will make sure we connect the dots for you guys with your NetEngine account. If you don't have a NetEngine account, I'm not giving you blog posts, but if you got a NetEngine account, bam, there's your bonus. I will give you some pre-written blog posts for that setup. Now, here's the thing. No, not support at drbenhelp.com, just drbenhelp.com. Go to that URL, and there's a help desk there. You can fill out something, okay? Hopefully that helps. Good question. So from here, I want you guys to pay attention to what's on this site. Everybody see the blue in the bottom? For those of you that are asking, how do we get at NetEngine? We should have some links inside of the members area for you guys, but we can get to that later. I'm not here to pitch NetEngine. You guys can use whatever you want. NetEngine just gets it done fast. For those of you that are gluttons for punishment and want to build a website from scratch using WordPress or something like that, go do it. I've done it that way for years. You can absolutely do that. You do what you're comfortable with. I use NetEngine because it makes my life simple anytime I need to build something. But this is not a pitch for that. Now, what I do want you to pay attention to is the blue in the bottom right corner. Does everybody see that? Give me a yes if you see the blue little button in the bottom right corner. For those of you that can't read that, it says grow your practice using your website in Facebook. So far, so good? You guys see that? Don't be strangers in that chat now. I don't care who you are. I want to hear from you. I want to know you're here. We're doing a workshop. Make sure that you are a part of that workshop so you can get the most out of it. So that's the button in the bottom. Now, when you click on this button, this is what pops up. This is what pops up, okay? So what pops up here is pretty simple. Discover how to automate adding 5 to 10 new patients a week using your website and Facebook. Everybody got that? Everybody got that? Now, this is specific to chiropractors because this is a specific chiropractic pitch. If you were doing accountants, it would be something a little different, right? If you were doing lawyers, it would be something a little different. Don't think that I'm just teaching you how to do this for chiropractors. Everybody here is smart enough to change up a couple of words and to get this done. Does this make sense so far? Does this make sense so far? Now, this is pretty familiar, right? Like anybody catching that all we did here, all I'm really doing this week is I am making myself my first client. How many of you have made the mistake? Because if you watch week 1, this is highly familiar. How many of you have made the mistake of starting your agency and you did not make yourself your first client? Yeah. Listen, I get it. There was once where I was a starting agency person and I didn't build the same stuff I told my clients that they needed for myself. But here's the thing. It's important to build these things. So discover how to automate adding 5 to 10 new patients a week using your website and Facebook. Now, what does this lead to? Obviously, if they put this stuff in, it leads to something that's going to teach them how to do that. Can everybody see the page here? Now, I'm not going to go through. I'll go through the text message stuff here in just a second. Bob, by the way, this is a NetEngine website, but this is a customer engine widget. So this widget was built with something called Customer Engine. We talked about that last week. These are 2 apps working in concert. Okay. Now, what that leads to, the text message, and I'll show you guys the text message in just a second that gets sent out, but it leads to this page. Okay. Now, this is an 11-minute video. Now, what this 11-minute video consists of, and I'm going to give every single one of you guys both the slides to this, like the slides, but I'll walk you guys through how I put this together. But what this is me doing the software demo, which we're going to go through like heavily next week. But I will give you guys the link to this week to start getting you guys sort of together on this. And if I were to play this. My name is
Dr. Ben Atkins, and just like you, I am a chiropractor.
And so I basically am going step by step. What do you think I'm doing in 11 minutes here in this guide? Anybody have an idea of what I'm doing in 11 minutes during this guide? Anybody have an idea of what I'm doing? Like, what am I actually going through when I do this video walking through um, all this? What am I actually going through? Anybody have a guess? I'll give you some hints as I go through this. I'll give you some hints as I go through this. And most of this is what I'm going to teach you next week. But what do you think this video actually is? Anybody? We got some good guesses here. I want you guys to travel back in time 1 week from today. And I want you guys to remember everything that I taught you guys in that hour to hour and a half that we went through the service that we were providing. Imagine if I didn't have to stop and answer questions. This is everything I taught you guys and walked you guys through with the website, with the opt-ins, with the Facebook stuff. It's everything I showed you all how to do for the client condensed into about 11 minutes. And it's me just walking through it. It's me doing our 15-minute demo that I'm going to teach you guys how to do next week. It's me doing that, but I put myself on video doing it. Everybody got that? Give me a yes in the box if that makes sense to you is what I'm doing. So this chiropractic practice growth guide is literally me doing the demo that I showed you guys last week, the demo that I'm going to teach you guys specifically how to do for the client in 15 minutes next week. It's that. So I'll give you guys access to this, and you guys are going to basically see me. You're going to see the demo that I do. I'll get real specific, and I'll give you the pieces of the puzzle to do this yourself next week for whatever niche you're doing. But the actual thing they're opting in for is the demo of what we're doing. Now, does that make sense? Does that make sense that this giveaway is the actual demo? Yes, because this is the magic trick. This is the thing that we're doing. So as we get into week 3, I just want you guys to understand, I'm going to show you exactly how to do the software demo in under 15 minutes. This one was about 11 minutes and 12 seconds. And what do I have a good 3-4 minutes for afterwards, even if they've asked me nothing through the middle of this? Well, questions, right? And that gets me in under that 15-minute demo window that I want it to be under. Now, let me ask you a question. Is it going to take you a little bit of practice to master this in 11, 12 minutes? Is it going to take you some practice to do that? What do you think? Yes. How are you going to practice? And I'll get into this next week, but how are you going to practice this software demo that I'm going to teach you how to do in week 3? Well, you're going to turn on a screen recorder and you are going to practice doing this. You're going to practice doing the demo on video. What happens when you finally get good enough that you've got your demo down to 10 to 12 minutes? Well, now, guess what? You've got your opt-in that we're building for our page. Does everybody understand how this all comes together? There is a poetry to what I'm teaching you how to do. Okay? So as you're learning how to do this demo next week, guess what? You're building the opt-in that's going to be here sitting on your website to give away. Okay? Does everybody understand the inbound funnel that we're building here and how it all sort of comes together? Right? So what I should do is now I need to kind of show you what happens when they opt in. So when somebody actually puts their number in here, by the way, everybody that's making fun of my, and I know somebody's sitting at home doing this right now, everybody that's making fun of my not secure, I had a thing go goofy with GoDaddy last night. Of course, it happens right before my call. And I'm having to get this fixed right now. So this is being fixed in the background so that I get my my site. Like it literally happened last night. And I'm like, of course it did. Somebody's going to give me shit on the call for my website not being secure all of a sudden. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So what happens? What happens when they actually opt into this? What happens when they actually opt into this? And this is where we have to actually go into our automation. So, how we built this is real simple. We go into Customer Engine, and this is the widget that we built. So I just called it Practice Growth Guide. My keyword was Practice Growth Guide. And then I went in and I said, you know what? I want a white background. I want my logo. I uploaded my logo for Content DFY. My trigger button needs to say grow your practice using your website and Facebook. If you wanted to get like even more into this, how to grow your website using Facebook or your website and Facebook. And from here we go to hero image. I literally went in here and I picked like growth. I think I typed growth in. And so when I typed in growth, I got some things that were focused on growth. We could do a lot of different things here. You could change it to this. Uh, Super simple, right? Headline: discover how to automate adding 5 to 10 new patients a week using your website and Facebook. What do these people want? What do these people want, you guys? What do they want? What do these people want? They want customers. They want paying customers. They want money in their account. They have to get paid customers. That's where that headline comes from. So enter your number below and we'll send it to your phone now for free. Okay. Main button says send me the walkthrough. And then we click next. It gives us this. By the way, this is a lot of stuff we covered last week that we did for our customers. It gives us this. We go over to NetEngine. With NetEngine, I go to my website. I go to settings. I go to custom script. I paste it in here. When I paste it in here, it puts the widget on my site. Give me a number one if all that makes sense so far and you understand how I built this widget and where it all kind of, how we got the code and how it goes on the site. Okay, cool. Now from here, once we're done, you can see there's a button that says go to automation. So I click go to automation and now I'm building this. So here's what happens. What happens is I built the page inside of NetEngine. So I went to NetEngine. Let me go back to this website. I went to NetEngine. I clicked here. I went to pages and I built the page. So I went to new page. I built a page. It was new page and I selected the blank HTML option. And this is what it ends up looking like. I went to new page. Let me edit this for you. You can kind of see with this, the chiropractic growth guide. And what I did is I typed the chiropractic growth guide here. I made it a heading. I hit HTML source. I had uploaded my video to, you can upload it to YouTube. You can upload it to Vimeo, wherever you host your videos, doesn't matter to me. But what I did here is I put the embed code here. I centered it. And then I have a link down here. I typed in book a demo for your practice. And I have a link down here that whatever you use, and we use Calendly, that's where it's going to be. So what ends up happening is you have a page that looks like this where they can actually book a demo. And at the end of my video, and I'll go through this next week, at the end of my video, I call them to action to book a demo. And then I have a button that does that. Does everybody understand kind of how those pieces came together real quick before I keep going with the other stuff? Okay, so cool. So the idea here is now I got this. The notification that gets sent out to them when they put in their phone number is this. It says, hey, first name, been here with Content DFY. Here is your link to the practice growth guide. And in parentheses, I have the link to the page that I created in NetEngine where the video is housed. Feel free to text me back after you watch it if you have any questions. So far, so good? So far, so good? Super simple. Super simple. Now, I have two-way texting enabled on this account so that if they send me a message back, yes, this is being texted to them when they opt in here on this page. When they opt in right here, it's being texted. By the way, if we don't collect the first name, it fails gracefully and it will omit this and it'll just say, hey, been here with Content DFY. Here's your link to your practice growth guide. So this is the text that they are getting. Everybody follow me so far. Give me a big yes in the box. Please, nobody hang back. Everybody give me a yes if you're following what we're doing here. They opt in. We're texting them the guide. So they on their phone, they get a link to this page that has the video that they can go watch right there wherever they are. It's instant. They don't have to go check their email. It's all there, right? Now, I know I'm jumping around here a little bit, but I promise you go back and watch a replay, everything gets super clear. And what do you do if it's not super clear? What do you do if something about this is not super clear? Just reach out to us. Hit up our support, we'll help you out, okay? Hit up our support, we'll help you out. When you guys start building this stuff, I don't care if it's tomorrow, I don't care if it's 3 weeks, I don't care if it's 6 months down the road. Reach out to me if you're like, did I do this right? Can you test it out? Does everything look good for you? We'll test it out for you. No worries. Don't worry about it. We're here to help. Now that's what gets sent to them. We just went through that, but we also set up an alert. So we would hit the plus button and I set up an alert. Now, where does this alert go to? The notification goes to them. Where does the alert go to? The alert goes to me. The alert goes to me. Okay? So what happens is every time somebody goes through this funnel, it says new chiropractic lead, and then I have their phone number opted into the keyword campaign. So it'll be their phone number opted into chiropractic practice growth lead, whatever the keyword was. And if I do have a first name and a company, and I'll show you where that stuff comes in a minute, it tells me their first name and the company that they have. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? So what gets instantly text to my phone is all the information about the lead. Do you think that's important? Do you think that's important? For those of you that watched last week, do you think that's important? Yeah, it's an important thing. It's an important thing because I want to follow up with this lead specifically. So what we've got here is we've got something on our website that absolutely can collect leads for us. Okay? Absolutely can collect leads for us. And this is important. This is important. Okay? This is a key to making sure that we've got something out there that can help us grow. But let's get more aggressive. You guys want to get more aggressive with this? Remember, with the inbound leads, just because it's inbound doesn't mean that we don't work to get this out in front of people. So what we also want to do, we don't just want to build we don't just want to build a widget that goes on our website. We also want to go in, we want to build a landing page. So what I did was I went in here, I built the landing page using Customer Engine. And by the way, to do that, just so everybody is super aware, you go to new campaign, you either select widget or landing page. So with this, I go in and we build a landing page. I just named it Practice Growth Guide Landing Page, same keyword as the widget. Everybody understand? So I'm not building a new keyword for the landing page. Why does the landing page and the widget share the same keyword? Let's get technical for 2 seconds. Why are the landing page and the widget operating on the same keyword? Because I want them to connect to the same automation. Remember, when we build an automation, it runs off of a keyword. I want to have multiple ways for people to come into the funnel, but the funnel to be the same sort of process. For this use case, does that make sense? Give me a yes if that makes sense. So this is just routing. This tells me that when I get to the automation, I want my landing page and my widget. So both this down here and this right here, I want it to have the same follow-up. Now, here's the thing. Discover how to automate adding 5 to 10 new patients a week using your website and Facebook. Okay? We have our first name. We have our business name. We have a cell phone. If they opt into here, then they are absolutely getting this guide that we talked about. Okay? So they're getting this guide that we talked about. And one of the really important things that I want you guys to understand is with these things that we're sending to them, we want to make absolutely sure that they're getting them and we give them enough time to watch them and then we follow up. So a good time to follow up is typically not the same day for our stuff. Does that make sense? It's typically not the same day for our stuff. Okay? Now, how do they opt into the landing page versus the widget? Now, the widget, and I'll get into traffic here in just a second, but the widget is they land on our site. Who might show up to our website? Let's talk about traffic here. Who might show up to our website? And this is important. This is important. Who might show up to our website? And I want you to think about this in a very chill way. How many of you all go to trade shows? How many of you all are part of your chamber? How many of you all are part of things where you're going out? I have a business card that points back to my website. Okay? I tell people, hey, if you want to get a hold of me, go to my website. At the bottom of every email that I send out, it goes to my website. So there's a lot of things. My social media points back to my website. Everybody follow me on anything that you're posting on Instagram, anything you're posting on your Facebook, your personal Facebook. You should have a way for them to get back to your business website. Give me a yes if you understand that. I want everybody here to understand one of the keys to having a successful agency is to make sure that you have that agency, paths to that agency on all your stuff, okay? All your stuff. So this is our home base. So anybody that comes in is just like, you know what? Adkins seems like he's a happy guy. Let me go check him out. He's got this listed. Let me go check this website out. They go to check this out. Maybe it's 3 in the morning and they see this. Oh, okay, cool. This looks good. Interesting. What's this? And they click on it. They click on the bottom and they go to my website. They check me out. What's this? That's how they're getting to my website. A website for us is going to be people snooping on us behind our back. Everybody got me. Everybody got me. For us, for agency owners, every time we have an interaction, whether it's online or offline, there's going to be people that will snoop on you behind your back just to check you out and see how legit you are. That's what our website does for us. Everybody got that. Give me a number one. Give me a number one. Okay? So I don't want any of you having any wasted interactions, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on TikTok, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're sending out emails, whether you're out eating at a place and you hand out a card to somebody, whether you're at a chamber meeting. There are going to be people that snoop on you behind your back by going to your website. Make sure your website is set up to actually pull in leads. Does everybody understand why we do this? Why this widget is here? Why the website is set up? Because every interaction that I have, both online and offline, every day should trigger people to snoop on me behind my back. You know, that Atkins guy's pretty interesting. I'm going to check out. I'm going to snoop on him. How many of you have ever snooped on a business owner behind their back? How many of you ever snooped on anybody behind their back after you got home from an event, after you met them online? We all do it. Listen, make sure that your stuff is set up to where the snoopers get pulled in further and further and further. If you don't have the funnel there, you're not going to pull people in. That's why we have a funnel on our website. So Katie, I believe you're the one that asked this question. Does it make sense kind of how we're pulling traffic to the website? And that's such a good question. I'm glad you asked. Now, that's one side. The other side is a much more direct type of thing, okay? A landing page is much more focused, Where might this come in? Where might this come in traffic-wise? We're going to start basic, and we're going to build to advanced. Very, very basic is this. I met a chiropractor at a chamber event, right? I met a chiropractor at a chamber event, and at that chamber event, we got to talking about stuff, and I said, you know what, Doc, I actually have something that I think specifically will help you. You know, here's my business card, and here's the main website, but let me write something on the back for you. I want you to go to this page, just put your info in there. Go through this. I want you to watch this video. Put in your info. Once you put in your info, you'll see the video on the other side. I want you to go through this and check out what we're doing with some of our other clients. This gives me, and I want I want you guys to really think about this. If I hand somebody my book that tells them what I'm doing, what are they going to do? They're going to flip through the table of contents, find the places that they want to read, and maybe they read a piece of it. But what happens if I hand someone my book and I have put in a Post-it note and I tell them, read this page, it's about you? Is that a much more focused way to bring someone closer to you? Does everybody get what I'm saying here? And this is why we have both. This is why we have both. And so this is a very low level way to use a landing page that I feel like a lot of people don't use. Use your business card. Obviously, you're going to shorten this URL to something that's more manageable, but have a business card that's got the specific thing. And once you get in a good conversation with someone that you're like, this is the fit, say, I want you to go here because I think this fits exactly what you could be doing. Go put your information on this page. Watch this video. It's 11 minutes and let me know what you think. I want your opinion on it. Okay? So that's a very low level way to use your landing page to specifically get people through the door. But the other thing that is incredibly powerful that I think everybody should be doing. How many of you are on Facebook every single day? How many of you are on Facebook every single day? How many of you on your Facebook have really bought in that your Facebook is also going to be your personal profile? I'm not talking about a page. Your personal profile is going to be a place where you drop knowledge to your audience every day too. Like, yeah, you can share pictures of your kids. That's great. Don't not do that. But how many of you are dropping all this marketing knowledge that you've learned on Facebook every week, every single week? How many of you have ever seen me go on my personal profile and drop a marketing bomb on people? Like I do it. I don't do it every day, but every so often I'll sneak in there. I'll be like, let me talk to you about how you can grow your business using Facebook. Let me talk to you about, and then I'll have a step-by-step guide. And at the end of that guide, I'll say something to this effect. And you know what, guys? I just put out this whole thing on how to automate adding 5 to 10 new patients a week to your practice using your website and Facebook. Check out the first comment where I posted a link to do that. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? Here's the thing that I need you all to realize that I feel like so many marketers, especially those that are just getting their feet set, don't understand. How many chiropractors, how many dentists, how many whatever do you know? Well, you probably know a handful of your potential clients. But your friend network on Facebook, just Facebook right now, your friend network on Facebook knows a lot of these people. Guys, all the time, I'll start talking about a specific industry and I'll have people tag their friends in my post. My personal page, not my online big business, my personal. They will tag their friends that are in that industry that might be interested in those things. Does that make sense to you guys? If you are not dropping little bits of knowledge on your personal Facebook wall and then tying that into your opt-in page like this, once a week, it doesn't have to be all the time, do it once a week. I guarantee you'll get customers doing that. I guarantee it. Some of you are like, Atkins, really? I get clients all the time because of one little stupid thing I posted that somebody tagged a friend and it led them down my funnel. Give me a number one if you believe me. Like from my personal, not an ad, not something I paid for. I literally just dropped some knowledge about something that I was doing, talked them through it, and then at the end I led to a funnel and they got in the comments and they tagged their friends, and 3 days later at 3 a.m, I get a notification on my phone that, hey, you got a lead through this funnel. And then a week later, and then a month later, I keep getting notifications from these posts. How many of you feel like you've got a Facebook wall of posts that are constantly delivering you leads from your personal Facebook? I'm telling you, very low level landing page, your personal Facebook, it will deliver for you if you feed it once a week. Everybody got me? Feed it once a week. Feed it once a week. Talk about something you're interested in. There is nobody here that is not a big marketing nerd. I know you guys. Everybody here is a big marketing nerd just like me. It's part of your life. Put it out there. It doesn't have to be stuffy business stuff. Give it your personality. Talk about something you're doing. People will start to do business with you that never even knew that you did what you did. They've been looking for someone to do this stuff. They've got friends that are looking for someone to do this stuff, and they've been looking, but they didn't even know you did it. Stop hiding what you're doing because it's your personal Facebook. Okay? So that's a start. Number two, how many of you have an Instagram? How many of you have an Instagram? Do you think that little section on Instagram where it's got website and description is important? Go into your Instagram, change your website and your description to your landing page. Your description is discover how to automate adding 5 to 10 new patients a week using your website and Facebook. And just post fun stuff, man. I just put out a whole course on what to put on Instagram, but like it doesn't have to be hard. You know what I do on Instagram when I get up in the morning? 30 minutes. I've been preaching this for years. I reach out to potential clients and I like their post. I like their post. I send them a message. What happens when I like their post and I send them a private message? What do? For those of you that don't know how to use Instagram effectively, what do? When you go out, I want you guys to understand, I get up in the morning, I search out chiropractic on Instagram. I will go to the search. I will find post. I will like the post. I will comment on the post. What do those people very often do? Because nobody else pays attention to them. What do they do when you do that? I do this 30 minutes in the mornings. What do? They go to your profile. And what do they read on your profile? They look up at your picture on Instagram, and what do they do after that? What do they do after that? They look at the description and they look at the website. So if my description is discover how to automate adding 5 to 10 new patients a week, and my link goes back to this page, what do you think I'm getting every single day from my Instagram? What do you think I'm getting every single day from my Instagram? Leads. All right, so far, everybody following that, I've given you 2 ways to pull leads in to your inbound funnel. We got 2 so far, right? We got 2 so far. Okay? So there's 2 so far. And every time one of those leads comes through the door, I get a notification on my phone. That's incredibly important to realize. So that's 2 ways that right now, very low level, everybody can do for free. Everybody realize that we're not spending any money on advertising yet. 2 low level ways. Okay? Now, let me ask you another question. And I'm going to talk about timing of this too in just a minute. Let me ask you another question. If you are on Twitter, how many of you are on Twitter? Twitter happens to be in the news quite a bit lately, but how many of you are on Twitter? If you happen to be on Twitter, you can do the same thing. In your description, tell people what you do. I am a marketing expert that helps chiropractors to grow their practice. For more on how we do that, click the link in my profile, and your link goes to your landing page. Now, what do you do for 20, 30 minutes every day before you get out of bed on Twitter? You go to other people's, you go to chiropractors, you go to dentists, you go to all those people, the white coats and the suit and ties. You find them on there, you comment on their stuff, they're going to come back to your profile and check you out. Period. Does everybody understand the third way that you can go get leads without spending any money? Simple. By the way, how many of you are starting to put together that you could hire someone to do this every day too? You could hire someone to do this to generate your inbound traffic for you by just leading back to this funnel that I've got here on your page. Everybody got what I'm actually showing you here. Every single day, you got somebody out working Instagram for you. You got somebody working out Twitter for you, or you can do it yourself to start. But there's 3 ways. Now, how many of you think that posting a little bit on LinkedIn every so often, or commenting on other people's LinkedIn stuff, the same sort of stuff applies? Fill out your LinkedIn profile, but lead back to your landing page. There's 4 ways that we can do this. For some of you, yes, so we just named 4 different social networks basically that you can do this, okay? Do you have to do all of them to get lots of leads through the door? Pick 1 or 2. Pick 1 or 2. For those of you that are super enterprising, there are lots of fun services that have popped up like TikTok that you can bring in a ton of leads as well. I'm not going to cover that today, but I guarantee you're about to see me doing more on TikTok because the traffic is immense. And I'm sure I'll talk more about that down the road. But right now, does everybody understand the free ways that we are getting people to our landing page and to our website? Most of the people that go to my website are people that are creeping on me. Either they met me in person, they met me online, and they found my website. Most of the people that are coming to here, I intentionally funnel them towards this. Now, here's what I'm doing. And I won't cover this today because it's too much for today's call. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my friend Liana. Liana is one of the best ad people on the planet. And she's going to walk you through how to use paid traffic to get people to this particular kind of page. So we're going to cover paid traffic to get even more leads through the door towards this page. Everybody follow me on that. Give me a yes if so. Give me a yes if so. So far, so good? So far, so good? Now, this is inbound. This is inbound. One more way that we're going to do this is through Facebook post. So I can go in. Obviously, I can post on my personal profile here, but I have a Facebook page. I have a Facebook page. Every single day on that Facebook page, what happens? Every single day on that Facebook page, what happens? New posts. How do those new posts get powered? So new posts every day on this Facebook page. Every day there's at least 2 posts that go live. Every single day. Now, how do I maximize those posts? Well, like I said, there are agency packs inside of social rotation that I showed you last week. Remember, does everybody remember last week? Give me number 3 in the box if you remember last week when we went through social rotation and I showed you how I added the chiropractic pack, but there's packs for just about every niche you can imagine. Well, guess what? There's also packs for your agency. So we go in and I'm showing you guys an agency pack right now. So for my agency, here's the pack. And some of this stuff hasn't loaded yet. There you go. So there's all these amazing posts for our agency. Here's what you can do here. Bulk edit your first comments. Ready to add 5 to 10 new patients a week. Check out how with our practice growth guide. And then we go in. Obviously, I would shorten this URL. But I grab this, put the URL in here, and we click save. Now, real quick question. What's going to happen to every post that goes out after from this point forward from this pack if I click save? Every post going forward will post, but then in the comments will be a link back to my stuff. Everybody got that? So every post is going to have that goes live every day is going to have a link back to that landing. One more way that we constantly have traffic coming in to our inbound funnel. Does everybody understand the inbound funnel so far and how we get traffic to it? Give me a big yes in the box if you understand the inbound funnel, how traffic is finding it. Okay, good, good. Now, what do we do? What do we do with the inbound funnel from there? Can I show you a trick or two? Can I show you a trick or two with the inbound funnel that's going to help you guys? You ready? Give me a number one if you want to see a trick or two that's going to help you with this inbound funnel. Okay? So remember this? Remember this? Remember our automation here that we had that notified them and send them the link to the thing and gave us the alert? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go click here. We're going to go conditions and workflow. We're going to go wait, and we're going to wait for 1 day. So I'm going to save that. We're going to wait for 1 day. Now, what is that doing? It's saying they opt in, they immediately get a notification. We immediately get an alert, but we're going to wait for 1 day. And then on top of this, we're going to put in a new notification. So, hey, been here, content, DFY. I just wanted to check in and see if you had any questions about the guide I sent you yesterday. You want to make this text even more effective? Take out the front. I just wanted to check in and see if you had any questions about the guide I sent you yesterday. Save. So 1 day after this thing goes out, it's going to send them a message saying that. Okay? Make sense? So far, so good? What am I trying to get them to do? What am I trying to get them to do? Just reply back. Reply back. But not only that, not only am I going to do this, but whenever I get a lead that comes through the door, I'm trying to figure out who it is. So if I get the idea and I know who the office is because they put in their name and stuff, all that, what I'm looking at is this. This is me calling the office of the businesses that have opted into the inbound. Everybody follow me. Give me a big yes in the box if you follow that this is us calling the offices manually. Okay? Now, what do we know before we call these offices? What do we know before we call these businesses? What do we know for a fact? We know that they suffer from a problem. We know that they suffer from a problem that we can fix. Am I right? Give me a yes if I'm right. We know that they suffer from a problem that we can fix because they opted into this guy. So here's the walkthrough. It's them and you, okay? Now there'll be variations on this, but just follow me. So this is what they would say. Jasper Chiropractic, this is Susan. How can I help you? Hey, Susan, this has been with Content DFY. Did I catch you at a bad time? And wait. Just wait. They're going to say, actually, we're super busy at the moment. Well, yeah. Actually, I've got a minute. What can I help you with? That's going to be the typical gambit of what you're going to run, some variation of it. And then you jump in. I'll be real quick. I saw that someone in your office had signed up for our chiropractic practice growth guide. The reason for my call is that I'm looking to connect with Dr. Jasper for a 15-minute demo of our practice marketing and growth software that we talked about in that guide. Is there a good 15-minute block that he happens to have open this week? And you're going to get one of these variations. Not interested. We're not interested at this time, but thank you. What I call the cold one. Have you spoken with the doctor about this before? Cold two. He's really swamped this week, actually. Warm, sounds interesting, but he's really busy. Like, that's about as warm as you're going to get. Everybody, does that make sense so far? I don't think I painted any unrealistic picture here of what you're going to hear back. I don't think that notice I didn't put anywhere, yes, please. Also, can we pay to fly you in? There's none of that. Okay? There's none of that. This is about what you're going to get. So let's be realistic. Here's your responses. If they're not interested, you say, no worries, Susan. I can appreciate that. Is there maybe a better time in the future I could call back and buy your office lunch and showcase the software? Now, what am I adding in here? I'm adding in this little barb of I'm going to buy them lunch. Why do I not care to buy an office lunch? Why do I actually like to buy offices lunch? Because I know that I'm never going to be in the hole financially. There's some of you that are sitting here right now being like, well, Atkins, isn't that going to cost me a whole lot of money if I'm buying offices lunches all the time? No. You buy an office a lunch, there's a 90% chance you're closing this office. Why? Why? If you buy an office a lunch, why is there a 90% chance you're closing that office? Anybody know? Law of reciprocity is huge. Guys, there is nobody out there that I have ever been so, like when I was in the office, that bought me lunch that I didn't feel like these people were different. Do you understand that? Why? Some of you are, I know right now you're afraid, like, oh, the offer to buy lunch, that's money out of my pocket. Listen, how much money do you all spend in online courses and software every month? Let's get real for 2 seconds. How much money do you all spend on online courses and software every month? You can buy some people that are going to pay you lunch. Okay? Every one of you can do it. I know every one of you can do it. But here's why it's going to pay off for you big. Because if you buy their office lunch, if they accept this, if that is the condition that gets them to accept a meeting with you, and it will be the condition that they do a lot of times, there's not going to be one office that doesn't feel like you stand out, because most people want something from them and they don't want to give anything to them. Give me a number one if this makes sense to you. Don't be a stranger in the chat right now. I want to make sure everybody in this room understands what I just said. What I just said. Okay? So the key here is law of reciprocity kicks in. But also immediately, if you're willing to buy an office lunch, your company now has a place in that office. Anybody that bought me lunch that entire week coming up, hey, don't forget, Content DFY is buying us lunch on this day, and we have to hang out with them for 15 minutes. Mark it on your calendar. That gets my name of my company gets mentioned at least 10 times the week before and coming into that week. Okay? We become more than the 100 other people that have tried to sell them something in the last month. So it's important. So that's the first one. The second is cold. If you say, have you spoken with the doctor before? I actually haven't. I got the doc's name because someone in the office opted in to learn more about the software and how it works. Okay? All right? The next one, no worries, Susan. I can appreciate that. What might be a good time for me to call back so that we can connect? Warm, I totally understand. Is there a time that you or someone else on the team might be able to do a 15-minute demo with me? I'd love to buy you lunch if the doctor's too busy and show you how the software works. What am I really doing here? What am I doing here? I'm setting them up to understand a couple things. Number one, I'd love to become closer with them. Number two, I've got a demo that I want to do. This is what I want to do. I'm not going anywhere. You're not just going to blow me off. If you blow me off now, I'm going to find another time in the future to call you back. But here's the other thing I want you guys to understand. I'm establishing that I am a business owner too. Okay? I'm a professional. How many people think that hiding behind too many fancy words is going to work for you? Listen, I do this. I can help you with this. Can I get a demo to show you what we're doing? If you don't want a demo with me, that's okay. That's okay. But I'm willing to buy you guys lunch in compensation for your time for me to show you this cool fucking thing that I've got. And I know that you're interested in this thing. I know that you're interested in this thing because you opted in. So everybody understand how these things work. And by the way, you guys will get a copy of this script. You guys will get a copy of this script so that you can follow it. Call, ask to book your meeting. Are you going to book every call that you make? No. But we want a yes or a no or a call me back at this particular time. This is how you fill your pipeline. Got it? Now, in the beginning, a lot of you will be doing the calling yourself, but you could absolutely hire this out to somebody else as quickly as possible. This does not have to be something that you do. Does everybody understand that? Give me a 7 in the box if that makes sense to you. This is not something you do. What are we doing here? This is appointment setting. This is not selling. This is appointment setting. Everybody got it. Now, the appointment setter is selling the appointment, but we're not trying to sell our thing on this call. We're just trying to sell the appointment. This is appointment setting. Does everybody understand what we are doing here and why you have to gap this mentally into its own little box? If you try to gap selling in with this, you're going to fail miserably. We're not to that stage in the relationship. This is about asking for an appointment to show them something that can help them. Okay? So, everybody understand very simply, and it goes a lot faster from here. Everybody understand how we build our inbound funnel and how we follow up with those leads before I move on to the outbound, which is a lot easier. Everybody understand that? Give me a yes if so. Give me a yes if so. How many of you, and be honest with me, how many of you have the machinery in place right now where leads will fall into your lap like that? How many of you have the machinery in place? If you don't have the machinery in place, go build the machinery. You know how to build it now. You know how to build it now. Listen, I think a lot of people get really stuck on the fact that business just falls into my lap. How many of you have heard of an online marketer that does this? It has their own agency. Talk about how a client just fell into their lap the other day, and you're like, that never happens to me. How many of you have ever thought that? Like, be honest. It's okay. I get it. It's frustrating when you hear people, I just had a $30,000 package fall into my lap. I've had that happen before. I had a $5,000 website client fall into my lap. I had this $1,500 up front, $300 a month fall into my lap. The reason that we hear those things is because of what I just taught you how to do. I have the machinery in place, and I'm putting out little pieces of bait on my social profiles and in person. Simple. I'll bring in Liana to teach you guys how to do it ad-wise with a very focused ad, but I want you guys to understand you can live a very good life doing this without having any ads and just constantly talking about what you do online and in person, but having a funnel to sieve out the bad ones and to bring the ones that really will spend money with you closer. So far, so good? If you're ready to jump into outbound, give me a big yes. Should the funnel be on the homepage of the website? I put it on the homepage. I put it on very specific blog posts if I do something like that. And I don't do a lot of blog posts, but the ones I do, I make sure I got something on there. All right, so let's go outbound. Let's talk outbound. This is going to be pretty easy compared to what we just set up because this is really just bringing in leads. How many of you have ever heard about something called Built With? How many of you have ever heard of something called Built With? It's a great tool. It's a great tool. Change your life. Change your life. Sign up for a free account. Okay? You don't have to have a paid account. When you get to the point where like you've been thinking about a paid account, it's because you're making a lot of money with this already. It's just pure money. Pure money. I want you to go to like Built With, And with built with, you go up here to the top and you type in a keyword. Everybody following me so far? You type in a keyword like chiropractic. And I'll type in some other keywords in a second. But what built with is going to do is it's going to take you down a list of technology that is going to be extremely useful for you. So let's look here. Let's just say we're looking at perfect patience for chiropractic. So perfect patience, and I click this. What did I just stumble into? What did I just stumble into? What did I just stumble into? I stumbled into a list of people that this particular company, they have built these sites. This is a competitor. They have built sites for this person. What I can start doing from here is I can strategically start clicking into these sites and picking apart how my service is better than what they have. And once I really have that down, I can basically start going down this list and building a prospecting list of businesses that I want to call that I know are paying for help. So far, so good. So far, so good. So there's one list. Okay, let's go into this one. It's a whole other set. And like I said, you can download these full list. But the idea here is we can go and rock this out. Let's just screw with this a minute. Let's type in lawyer up here, and let's look this up. So we got lawyer. Now here is a lawyer and attorney WordPress theme. This isn't necessarily a company. This is a WordPress theme. So I can download the list of all the law firms using this theme. How many of you think that this is particularly useful? How many of you think that this is particularly useful? Let me explain to you, if you haven't caught on yet as to what this is and what this actually puts in front of you, this is laying bare in front of you the technology that these places are using. But I guarantee you behind every one of these sites is somebody that has paid money. Someone that has paid money and is probably paying monthly money in some of these cases when you find certain things, and you can find it for whatever niche you happen to be going after, but they are paying money to have their website done. We don't sell websites, though. Everybody understand that? I hope at this point everybody here understands that we're not selling websites. We sell marketing machines, where websites are obviously the foundation, but we sell marketing machines. And what I'm telling you guys is anybody that is on this list, do you understand that you can provide value for 80% of the people you're going to find on this list, or whatever niche you're in? You can provide value greater than what they are already paying for. If that makes sense and that's locking in, give me a number 1 in the box. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. When I go here, I know that not all these people are going to become my clients. But what I do know is that for almost every one of these people that I find, my product is going to provide more value to them than what they're currently paying for. How many of you as salespeople, that's a good feeling? That's a really, really good feeling. When I have it, like, I don't want to get on the phone with somebody that I've got to talk up a hill. Okay? I want to get on the phone with somebody that if I get the chance to demo for them, then I know they're going to see the magic trick and be like, oh, I get why this is better than what I've got. So that's the key. So if you go to Built With, you set up a free account, throw in your niche name here, and this is where you can really quickly go down and get a list. We're not just pulling a list of chiropractors. We're not just pulling a list of lawyers. We're pulling a list of people that have paid and are probably paying a monthly to have a website up. And with what we're doing, we know that we can do better. Okay? We know that we can do better. So that's where it starts. That's where it starts. From here, outbound, this outbound funnel, this is us picking up the phone. We're calling each of these people. This script is a little bit different than the inbound because we're calling them cold. I'll be really quick. The reason for my calls, I'm looking to connect with Dr. Jasper for a 15-minute demo of our practice management, our practice marketing, and growth software. Is there a good 15-minute block that he happens to have open this week? Make sense? Make sense? Are you going to close? Are you going to close every single lead that comes through the door? Are you going to close every single lead that comes through the door, especially with the outbound funnel? No, that's okay. How many of you think that if you start calling 10 businesses a week, you're going to learn more about your industry in the next 3 weeks than you ever have the entire time you've been doing this? Here's what I love and hate about the process with the outbound leads. Can I walk you guys through this? What I love and hate about the process with the outbound leads? What I love about this is when you're calling businesses like this, you learn more in a span of 2 to 3 weeks than you ever could on a webinar, me teaching you something. And listen, I think I teach pretty damn good stuff, right? Like I think the stuff that I teach is pretty damn good, but nothing compares to you actually connecting with potential customers. Nothing compares to you getting on the phone and sometimes getting your ass handed to you on the phone. We all get our ass handed to us on the phone and in meetings sometimes. That's okay. That's part of the gig. But this is how we do it. Now, let me ask you a question. What do you think between this inbound and outbound funnel? What do you think is going to happen to your weeks very quickly? Let's just break this down because I want you guys to have a sense of what's about to happen to you. Let's break this down. What do you think is about to happen first? Here's what's going to happen. You're going to talk to more people for sure. But out of all the people you talk to, you're going to run into somebody that's going to be low-hanging fruit. It'll be somebody you know, somebody your friend knows that is going to want to do this with you. I guarantee you, in the first month, if you're busting through, there's a good chance that you're going to get your first client just because you have a product that fits what they're doing and because you had a connection with someone else. Give me a number one if you believe me. It may not be a direct connection to a chiropractor you know or a dentist you know, but if you start posting this stuff and you start talking about this stuff on your social, you're going to have friends that are going to refer someone to your way. You're going to catch some low-hanging fruit, and you all are going to close a $1,500 sale with the recurring on the back. It's just going to happen. It's just going to happen. You got to believe it's going to happen. You got to believe that you can deliver value when it does happen, and I certainly handed that to you so far. But if you have these pieces in place and you know how to build it for them, you know how to build it for yourself, you've got these pieces in place, those things are going to fall in your lap. But what's also going to happen is this. You're not going to get floods of business with the low-hanging fruit. Some of you will because you have more low-hanging fruit around you. But what's going to happen is this. You're also going to start to put together a system. And what I mean by this is let's say you pick up the phone. Let's say you pick up the phone 10 times and call some outbound leads. Okay. Let's say you do that. But also you've got the outbound plus the inbound starting to connect. You're going to start seeing that, oh, I have one demo a week. If you connect with 10 different businesses via the phone and you start getting a situation where your inbound funnel is starting to pull in leads and you're catching them on the phone, what you're going to start seeing is you're booking about a demo a week. Everybody follow me so far. Give me a yes if you follow me so far. Now, here's what happens when you start kind of getting the here's what happens when you start getting the one appointment a week. You're gonna be like, well, what if I set up a situation where I had an appointment booker calling 100 businesses a week? Like, it wasn't me calling, but I hired someone and their whole job is to follow the script, and I want to have them call in this outbound funnel with the competitors that I showed you guys how to define with built with. What if I had them call 100 a week, and you'll start booking 2 or 3 appointments a week at least. And what ends up starting to happen is you'll start being like, well, I'm getting, you get 6 months down the road, I'm getting 5 to 10 appointments a week just to demo what we're doing. Does this make sense? But it needs to start with this, and please listen to what I'm saying. It needs to start with build your inbound funnel, start leveraging social and your personal interactions at least once a week with something you're adding on social media. Facebook, start with Facebook, every single one of you. Talk about something that is marketing related, that you've learned in something, and link them to your opt-in. Make you the marketing thing that you learned about the niche that you're going after. So don't be just out there, but like, I've taught you guys some stuff today that like you could apply to dentists, you could apply to chiropractors, you could apply to real estate agents, you could apply to lawyers. The idea here is that you are going out there, you're talking about some of this stuff, and then you're linking to your funnel. So there's an obvious progression. That's going to get you some leads. When you start talking about that at least once a week, that will get you some leads. Those things will start to stack. When you start calling some of these outbound leads, and you call 10 a week, you're going to start booking a demo here and there. It's going to feel slow at first, but slow is good because you're getting your legs and understanding how to convert, which is what we're going to talk about next week. Does everybody understand so far how this works? Does everybody understand how this works so far? Let me throw another one out there. Once you get this machine set up and you start getting on the phone, how many of you think that when you're on the phone with somebody and they say, you know what, we don't have time for this, you can say, hey, you know what, that's totally cool. I understand that you guys are locked. Can I send you a video? Can I send you the video where we show how this is? Because I know you don't have time. Can I send you the video? You've got all these pieces. How many of you feel like sometimes you run into a wall because you just don't have the machine set up? And somebody will say something and you have no way to answer it. How many of you feel like your machine is not set up and that's why your business isn't going? Are you treating your business like a hobby, or are you treating your business like a business? A real business has a machine to grow. Okay?